Hi everyone, Lewis here again. I want to talk about a new film called Beast. Just came out 2022. There's probably other films called Beast, so to avoid confusion, it's the new one that just came out with Idris Elba. I want to talk about this film because it's it's not a great film, but it's not a bad film. It's just a film, and I found that quite interesting because I wasn't really sure about whether I'll go and see it. I thought if there's a convenient screening for me, I will, because I don't think I ever even watched the trailer. I just thought, I think I saw maybe like a YouTube advert briefly, and I think I saw a review headline that said it's Idris Elba versus a lion. What's not to like? And I thought, yeah, fair play, because I'm a big fan of movies that have a nice simple premise, and normally man versus animal kind of thing, and it's a tricky one because I like it if it's a big like monster animal, that kind of thing, or like like the Predator or something like that, um, or like one of those big crocodile movies. But sometimes I don't like it when animals are kind of demonized, kind of thing, and some of the marketing for this made it look like that was kind of the case. It was just man versus horrible monster lion, but they do establish early on in the film that there's a reason the lion is behaving as lions don't, and there's a lion expert in the film. There's other lions, and they're quite civilized and that kind of thing, as well as lions can be. And it's like, yeah, they kind of say, they're wild animals, but you play it safe around them and that kind of thing, but they're not just monsters. And there's a reason in the film why this creature is behaving, this animal is behaving as he is, kind of thing, which was cool. I'm glad they took that extra step and it wasn't just a monster movie. And but yeah, I quite like things with a nice simple premise like this and a survival kind of theme. So yeah, so I thought, I'll give this a go. And for some reason, my local cinema only had 4DX screenings, which is where the seats move and that, and they spray water at you, and it shoots bees at you and stuff. And I was like, I don't really want that. I've never tried that. But yeah, they're the only ones that were on. But then I went to a different one where they had the Superscreen, which is kind of halfway between a normal screen and an IMAX screen. And so it was a really nice, good quality screen, good sound as well. And there wasn't many people in there because it was an afternoon. And yeah, and I just overall had quite a good sort of viewing experience. And plus, I knew going in that the movie was only about 90 minutes long, which is always a good selling point. And it's just an unusual movie these days where I assumed it would be sort of a 12A rated thing where it's kind of just a general sort of, action film sort of thing. But when I was watching the trailers, there was a few F bombs in the trailers, and I thought, oh, is this 15 rated? And it was 15 rated. And the only reason for that I can see is that it's quite gruesome in places. There's quite a bit of blood and that, but not excessively. I wouldn't say it's a massively violent movie. I think I'm surprised it was maybe surprised it was a 15. I think it probably just was on the line, I'd imagine, but I wouldn't say it's excessive kind of thing. It's as you would expect given the subject material, and yeah, so it's just a movie, a standalone movie aimed at obviously more of an adult audience, and it's just a simple drama. And like you don't really get movies like that now. Like everything's like a franchise or a remake or something like that, and it's rare that there's just a movie that's just aimed at adults. And like I say, it's just a movie on its own. It's really, as far as I know, it's not based on a book or anything. It's just a movie that's there to be a movie, which these days is really unusual. But yeah, like I say, it's not anything particularly special. It's just a pretty solid movie, I think. And like Idris Elba is always good quality. He plays an American in this one, which I think as he becomes more and more famous over the years, and everyone knows him as being a British person, I think it's harder to buy him as an American. And I think he's done a number of different American accents. And like if you see him in The Wire, like you wouldn't know, because obviously that's right. Right at the start of him becoming famous, you probably wouldn't know that he's not American because he's very good in that. But sometimes his accents are a bit not ridiculous, but you just kind of go, I know that's not an American person. It does kind of take you out of it a little bit. I think that they try with like the emotional core of this with his family and stuff like that, and there's some weird little dream sequences which felt a bit out of place, but I mean it didn't particularly grab me on that part. I think this could have been a much better film if it had a bit more emotional impact, but it wasn't bad. It just didn't quite really work. I just feel like they kind of, I don't know, it could have been a bit more to it. But again, not really a complaint. That's just the way it was, kind of thing. But once it gets going, I like it because it's not really It's not a film that jumps around. There's not multiple things going on. It's just one thing. It's just the guy and his family and some other characters and stuff. And it's just them in this situation that they have to survive, which is always a good premise for a film, I think. It's nice and simple to the point. I will say the CGI I thought was very good on the animals as well. Like, I mean, there was no point where I thought, that looks a bit rough. Like, even in films that are CGI heavy, and if they're, if they're big budget films, you do have the odd moment where you kind of go, a bit rough around the edges there. But there was no point in this where I thought it didn't look good, to be honest with you, which is quite a rare achievement these days, especially for animals. Like, imagine how hard it must be to animate a living animal kind of thing. That's got to be really difficult. VFX artists are very underappreciated in this day and age. But yeah, I think if you're looking to go to the movies, and you don't want to be there too long, you want to be in and out in under 2 hours, and you want to see a pretty solid film, I think this is a good shout. Why not? Yeah, I think don't go in expecting anything mind blowing. Just go with the story, and you go, yeah, that was pretty good. It'll probably be like the number one movie on Netflix for a week in about a year's time, but that's the life cycle of cinema these days. But yeah, I thought it was pretty decent. Nothing bad I can say about it. Nothing amazing, but yeah, gets just one thumbs up from me, not two, just the one. But yeah, that was my review of Beast 2022. Thank you very much for watching.